What's going on there, guys? How's it going? Earthmaster here, checking in on the live stream with an update video on this Wednesday night, June 1st, 2022, about 6:11 p.m. California time out here along the West Coast. Latest quake shows a 3.9 earthquake here on the globe. Looks like just offshore of the Japan region, coming in at about 50 kilometers or so into that area of the world. Let's go ahead and check out the latest activity here happening around the globe on the flat scale model of the Earth. Looking at, of course, activity in Texas picking up earlier. Did see quite a large uptick kicking up around the oil pumping operations out here. I've covered this quite a bit in my update videos, and it doesn't take a whole lot of research to note the activity that's been kicking up out here in this area of Texas. Looking way out here, a couple threes happening around this. This kind of looks like farmland out here in western Texas, but specifically where this 4.6 struck, there's not a whole lot, at least as far as the satellite imagery goes. I do know that there is some fault systems that do run out here, but looking at the general area as a whole from the air, obviously those are not towns, those are not cities, those are not farmhouses out here in western Texas. Those are indeed oil operations, pumping operations, and they're only going to get stronger as time progresses. The damage has been done underground, whether activating old faults or just creating weak spots out there in the crust. They will fill in over time. We haven't seen any further activity up through Oklahoma or Kansas yet. And so far in this cluster of quakes, let's go, and this is just a 2.5 and above map. Looks like following that 4.6, we've seen a 3.3, a couple threes there, 4 threes actually, to take note. Following that activity earlier this morning there, within 2 separate regions, we had a 4.6 up here in this area, and the 4.3 down here around this region. So still within this area of swarming, and you can take note here on the 30-day map, bring this up along that edge. Both of those 4-pointers kicked up within the edges here of that swarming seismic zone. So, and you guys seen all throughout this area hundreds and hundreds of pumping operation stations out there. All right, let's go and move on here to the 1 day. There we go. Okay, that's kind of odd. It's still showing the 30 days on there. So nothing going on through Oklahoma or anything yet. I still expect that to fill in, though. Some of those oil operations out there, they kind of look a little on the older side, kind of being erased from the satellite view, so to speak. The wind and whatnot, rain, storms, monsoon moisture, erasing the signature of a operating station out there from the topography of the land throughout time. But the damage is done down below, and sometimes it takes a couple years, more than that, to take note of earthquake activity. Some movement out here around the Hayward Fault. It looks like a 1.4 near the Milpitas area of California, 1.8 kilometers there for that 1.4. Somewhat shallow movement there in the Bay Area. We haven't seen too much movement recently in that area of California. Some spotty activity throughout northern Cal and the eastern part of the Sierra Nevada. We did see some earthquake out here along the western side of the San Joaquin Valley at 2.4 at 14 kilometers. Now, I know the Great Valley Thrust Fault lies within the western edge of the valley here. Kind of extends down there into the San Joaquin Valley as well. Notice the depth of that earthquake at 14 kilometers, indicating a thrust type fault. Got to watch that pretty closely. Somewhat of a deeper earthquake there for that region. And some activity on the Garlock Fault structure today. One right smack dab on it, 1.9 near Mojave. And some activity around Ridgecrest today. Some scattered activity up and down the southern portion here of the state, right around the San Jacinto Fault Zone. And a couple earthquakes here around the Salton Sea, 1.4, and a couple other smaller quakes there. Just very close to the San Andreas Fault here, the southern segment. One of these days we're going to be talking about the big one and what we've seen prior to that big one happening. It's just a matter of time. I kind of feel like that's going to happen here in my lifetime. Eastern part of the country, absolutely quiet. There's not a whole lot going on. Puerto Rico, some activity. Overall, though, not a whole lot of movement. South America, Peru Chile Trench, seen some activity earlier today. Since then, though, nothing really major going on. Just had a couple fours earlier this morning in that time frame. Throughout the western portion of the Pacific Ring of Fire, some activity kicking up here off the coast of Japan and outside of Tokyo. A couple fours look like they are the magic number there. No significant deep earthquake activity, just a couple microquakes scattered out and about there. Or not microquakes, but a couple earthquakes there scattered out and about the region. A bigger earthquake that's happened today was at 5.9 in China. Some reports saying that it was a 6-pointer, but either way, definitely did some damage out there and felt broadly throughout the area of China with a 5.9. Very shallow earthquake in this area of the country there. Since then, far as earthquake activity, most of it has been back building here along the eastern portion or the western portion here of the Pacific Plate east of the China earthquake activity. So not a whole lot of subsequent movement further west. That tells me right there we're coming into a little resistance, so to speak here. A lot of activity comes in this region here from the west, folks. Got that plate dynamics here shooting towards the northwest. Not going to point every plate here that moves in the direction, but you also got activity coming up here from the Indian Ocean towards the northeast, putting a lot of pressure here along this area of China and the Java Trench region. But we come into seems like we're coming into some further resistance there and build up of pressure with the activity that we've seen following that 5.9 much further over here to the east. Not a whole lot going on throughout the rest of the world. Looks a little on the quiet side. Pacific Northwest, not a whole lot going on either, right? Alaska, some spotty activity throughout the mainland up there around Anchorage, it looks like, and Denali. Yellowstone National Park tonight, well, not a whole lot going on. No major super volcano, no end of the world event going on here, folks. Couple earthquakes, actually. You look here on the Maple Creek area, seen a couple small, very small earthquakes showing up there on the map. Those are what earthquakes look like, and they're showing up across the Purple Mountain, Holmes Hill area. And it looks like Hebgen Lake as well. Mary Lake picked that up as well in terms of the seismic signature. Again, nothing really big going on, and I don't even think the USGS reported that activity. Let's go ahead and check here. A 0.8. That was at 12:15 UTC time. 12:15 is going to be this one right here, it looks like. So that's a 0.8. But that was earlier today. There's a little bit of activity here within the last hour. It looks a little bit larger than that 0.8, but again, nothing significant going on. Let's check out tremor activity tonight. Haven't looked yet. Ooh, we're getting in on a little more heightened activity tonight. Little jump up over the last couple nights. We've seen things kind of diminish. Now it looks like they're picking back up again. 337 epicenters up and down the Cascadia subduction zone from about southern Oregon into the area through Portland up into Washington and parts of Vancouver Island ranges. So a good portion of the Cascadia has shown some movement tonight. Again, 337 epicenters. Checking out the volcanic activity, or at least plate dynamic activity here, fault systems around the Mount St. Helens region. Let's see, what do we got? This is only about the last hour. I already see a couple very small spikes in there. We'll go ahead and check out the previous UTC time, which is our afternoon, our current afternoon or former afternoon and morning time. And see what we got. I got some meat cooking out in the barbecue and some corn. I got to watch that. I will post up a video just for the super fans out there shortly. Some activity kicking up here. Obviously, guys, see that? Choop, choop, choop. Quite a bit of movement. We're still seeing this odd earthquake activity throughout the day today. And I can't really figure out exactly what it is. It almost looks like an earthquake activity followed up by some type of quieter movement, so to speak. These are earthquakes. Obviously, they leave well-defined spikes But you get these type of events right here, and I'm not for sure exactly what they are. I'm not for sure how much snow is up there. I don't know if there's any type of land quakes or avalanches going on. But a lot of these earthquakes here, very visible, and then again, very small. Nothing really showing up here on the PNSN network. Nothing being reported. These are all older earthquake activity from the past month, past week, and that's only a fraction of what is occurring out there. Let's see. Let's go ahead and I got to cut this short. Not too long tonight. Got to watch my meat out on the barbecue. Otherwise, I will be eating some jerky out here tonight, along with some popcorn. Solar weather activity, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on. Once again, folks, these guys are still calling for a 50% chance of a C flare. I don't see that happening, but then again, maybe they see something I don't. Looking at the solar dynamics here, which one built up pretty quickly? I think it was 3027 here. This one kind of kicked up pretty rapidly. This is kind of the newer one, so to speak, on the map. So maybe this is the one they're kind of talking about, even though it's not super close in terms of the magnetic field. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It is Earth directed somewhat, facing towards the southern plane. Yeah, a couple other spots look like they may be developing here. Southeastern portion of the sun, but man, not a whole lot happening right now, guys. It's a little disappointing, to say the least. All right, folks, we are going to bounce out of here and get to dinner. That way I don't get don't waste dinner tonight. Cooking up some zucchini squash from the garden, our backyard garden. Gonna fry that up in the frying pan with some well, my mom used to make it. She used to dip the zucchini in some egg batter with some flour and of course a lot of pepper and stuff like that, some salt and pepper in the flour, and then just pop it on the frying pan and fry it up for a couple minutes, you know, in little small pieces, probably about 1/4 of an inch size for the zucchini. And man, does that come out so good. So I'm counting on Missy Mimi's tonight to cook that to perfection. And she's a really good cook, by the way. She does do some excellent cooking, but I haven't had this type of meal, the zucchini, fried zucchini, since since probably I was like 17 or 18, and that was a while ago. So I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, we got some meat out on the barbecue and some corn, which I'm kind of taking care of there, smoking it with some black walnut bark. It's going to be delicious. I can't wait. So anyway, guys, I'm going to bounce out of here. Have a good night. Stay safe, and we will be back if anything happens throughout the evening. If not, we'll chat at you guys a little bit later tomorrow. Stay safe out there.